All right. Good morning, everybody, and happy new year to you all. Give me 1 second here. This is my first time trying to go live on Instagram, and I'm trying to, there we go. All right, perfect. I think I am officially up and running on both sites now. So today I'm going to be doing a bold predictions for what I expect to see in the Phoenix residential housing market. But before I can do that and start sharing my bold predictions with you, I do need to lead with what happened in 2023 so that you have a little bit of context. As always, I like to start my market update videos with just a kind of current look at supply and demand. So right now in our MLS, we have 14,590 active residential listings, 5,173 listings that are pending, and 4,667 homes that closed within the past 30 days, which gives us a month's supply of inventory of 3.13. If you've never been exposed to that phrase before, basically just imagine if no new homes were to come on the market, it would take, at the current pace which homes are selling, about 3 months before everything would be gone. Now, of course, new homes come on the market every day, so it's just a hypothetical scenario that just sort of measures how much supply is there compared to how quickly are people buying up that supply. So in 2023, like a look at the entire year, our MLS saw 72,435 closings. Compare that to 2022, we saw 85,815, almost 86,000 closings. So about 14,000 or 13,000 and some change fewer homes sold throughout the 2023 year as compared to what sold in 2022. If you look at total volume, we actually had a higher total volume in 2022 as well, so more units and more volume, $48 billion worth of real estate in 2022 versus $40 billion in 2023. The average price is quite interesting, and this is where I think this is where I think maybe there's some, I don't know, maybe some information, maybe some surprises here. So in 2023, if we just look at all the homes that sold in 2023, our average price was $556,000. Compared to all the homes that sold in 2022, the average price was $560,000. So we actually, for the whole year, we actually saw a drop in the average price by $4,000. But I don't think that's really a fair way to look at it, because in 2022, if you'll remember, we started the year off hot because rates were still good. We were still coming out of the insane 2021 market, and we were actually seeing home values. Home values were actually really peaked in around June of 2022. So the spring market of 2022, we still had an absolute frenzy. Interest rates had started going up around March or April, but it didn't die down until June. But then the second half of 2022 was absolutely brutal. And what we actually saw was the average sales price in the Phoenix market hit its high of $602,000 in June of 2022. But by December of 2022, it had fallen all the way to $516,000, over a 10% drop from June to December of 2022. So that's why I was like, I don't think that's a very fair way of looking at year over year price history. So instead of looking at the whole year, I said, let's just look at December. What was the average price in December of 2022 compared to the average price of December 2023? So December 2022, the average price was $516,492. December of 2023, that we just finished up a couple days ago here, final average sales price of $560,808. So we actually saw a year over year increase in the average price of $44,316, or 8.6%. which absolutely blows my mind. From December to December, average price increase of 8.6%. Now, The average, is not always indicative of what is a typical home. So I also like to look at the median. The median is a little less dramatic. We went from 411,000 in December 2022 to 430,000 in December 2023 for an increase in the median of 4.6%. But either way, here's the point. So we saw in the year of 2023, from December to December, right, we saw average prices increasing, and that was despite the fact that we had much more inventory on the market in 2023 than we did in 2021, and the fact that we had very high interest rates all year long. Rates were in the 6s or 7s, almost at 8% at one point throughout the entire year. And despite the fact that we had those high rates and higher inventory, home values still rose. Why would that be? Well, I think a big part of that is that even though inventory was higher, 15, 16,000 homes for sale, or 14,000, or wherever it is at a given time, is still relatively low. In fact, extremely low inventory compared to the number of people who live here. And the month supply of inventory number is still indicative of a seller's market. So despite the affordability challenges that our market has been facing, home values have still managed to at least hold stable, if not rise a little bit. So here's now that I've given you kind of that background information, I think I'm ready to tell you where I think this is all headed. So again, if in 2023 we saw prices rising despite rates being in the 7s almost the entire year, I am very confident in saying that we are going to see a continued rise in home values this year. Let me point one thing out. We are starting this year out with even less inventory than we started 2023 with. 2023, in January 1st of 2023, we had 16,811 active listings. January 1st of 2024, or yesterday, we had 14,531 listings. So 2,200 fewer homes available for sale today than there were at this same time last year, which is about 14%, a 14% decrease in the amount of inventory. Then the other huge factor is going to be interest rates. So we started 2023 out at about 6.42% on your average 30-year fixed rate mortgage, and we are currently at about 6.6%. In other words, rates right now are about the same as where they were at this same time last year. All the difference, though, this time is that all the projections are that rates will be coming down this year. Now, of course, nobody knows this for sure. The Fed is not going to come out and say, we guarantee we're going to be lowering rates. But all the speculation and all the analysis and all of the comments seem to imply that it is their intention to lower rates this year. And most of the economic experts who I follow and who I've been monitoring online have been saying they're predicting rates into the 5s this year. So I think if we were able to go up on an average of 8.6% in 2023, or a median of 4.6%, then I think that we will easily, if rates do go down into the 5s, because I think what will happen is that once rates get into the 5s, there will be maybe not a 2021 insane frenzy when rates at 3%, but there will be an awful lot of people who are suddenly willing to move. An awful lot of people who say, you know what, I wasn't really willing to trade my 3% in for a 7%, but you know what, I might trade my 3% in for a 5% and then buy it down to 4.5%, right? There's going to be more people who are suddenly willing to make that move. There's going to be people who are renting who are going to say, gosh, I think this is a really great time to buy a house because this is the lowest we've seen rates at in a couple of years, and we are going to see demand increase. Without a doubt, demand is very low right now, but so is supply, and that's why home values have managed to continue to rise. So again, my big bold prediction is that I think we will see the average price in the Phoenix area increase by about 10% this year, so even greater than we saw in 2023. Now, of course, if rates end up not going into the 5s, that might, if rates stay in the 6s or even go back into the 7s, then my guess is that home values will be pretty flat and relatively stable. The other thing that I'm really keeping an eye on, and I plan on doing more analysis on this in future videos, is the rental market. Very interesting thing that have happened. I don't have all the data, and I'll do future episodes on this here in the coming weeks. But a very interesting thing in 2023, the Phoenix rental market was flat, if not slightly down. Average rents in many places were actually decreased by about $100 a month, across the whole valley. And that is kind of an anomaly. We don't typically see rental prices falling. And I think a big reason for that is there were so many people who had these rentals who had homes. Let's say you owned a home and you bought it at a 3% interest rate and you had to move. Many of those people were choosing to rent the house rather than sell it because the cash flow on it was so good. Plus, in 2021 and 2022, when rates were still good, investors were buying up homes like crazy and turning those into long-term rentals. Well, guess what has happened? So there was a surplus. There was a surplus of rental properties, which caused rental prices to dip slightly. Well, what happened in 2023? Increase in supply, so price dropped slightly. But in 2023, investors stopped buying, and very few investors were continuing to buy rental properties because it was hard to find anything that was going to cash flow unless you were paying cash for it. And so the spike of supply that we saw in rentals, I think, is really going to slow down, and I think we're going to start to see rent prices go up again this year. I wouldn't be surprised if we see average rents increase by at least $100 this year, to make up for what we lost. Maybe even more than that. Maybe we'll see 150 or 200. And as rents start rising like crazy again, that will also cause more and more people to say, gosh, I'm sick of renting. I really want to go buy a house. And we can get into, I've done other videos about all the benefits of owning versus renting, even if you can rent for cheaper. But I don't want to get into that today. But anyway, that is kind of my recap. Average prices, looking for average prices to increase by about 10% in 2024. Median probably won't be that much. Median will probably be 6 or 7%. And rental prices will also begin increasing again, and I will come out in a future episode with some more data on that. So hope you found this information helpful. If you are curious about what might be happening in your part of town or in your neighborhood, or with regards to the value of your home, or if you're thinking about turning your property into a rental or buying a rental, or possibly moving, or you're currently renting and you want to think about buying, anything like that, I take a very consultative approach to real estate. Would love to sit down and just talk to you about it and come up with a strategy, see what might make sense for you. But anyway, I appreciate you guys' time today. Thank you so much and have a great day.